and talking about a bunch of different things. I'm working on this idea. What up, Donovan? I've been working on this idea of like the hustler mindset. And then one of the things we've been talking about is like, how do we take the past? What's the value of our past, right? What is the value of all the scars and the good memories and the not so good memories? How do you take that and channel it? And I was thinking about it yesterday on how to best visualize like what it means to me. And this is kind of what I drew. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys or not, but this is sort of what I woke up this morning, and this is in my head of like, okay, if the line represents me, which is the current moment, the present, me and you right now, then everything in the future hasn't happened, right? And we put such emotion into like what we can accomplish, but there's no blueprint on like what can happen or not happen yet. Like we haven't done anything. It's just a vision. Like I want to grow my music career, or I want to start a company and hope it works out, or I want to be in a great relationship, or I want to have X amount of money in my bank account, or whatever. It's in the future, like, but it hasn't happened yet. And a lot of times when we think about the future, we tend to think about all the things that can go wrong, even though we want to think optimistically. Because there's so many things unknown. You know what's going to happen. A lot of us been impacted by COVID with financial issues or life issues. I heard divorce rates are going up through the roof. Lawyers are damn busy right now, which is sad. What's up, Priya? Thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping by. So the future is unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. And then we know what happened. So that giant circle in the back is our past, is our history. We know what that is. We've already lived through it. We've experienced it. We felt it. We celebrated. We cried. Whatever we did, it's an absolute certainty because you've seen it and done it already. And what I was thinking about in this particular chapter, which is what this week is focused on, is how do you break through? Like, how do you break through hurdles? How do you break through those moments where you have a roadblock? How do you find the strength to like break through another wall, right? Whether it's business related, whether it's personal. Avanti talked a lot about how when she was young, very young, and she was getting bullied. And she was like, man, I don't know how to break through that, so I channeled it into love. And that's her experience. When she looks back in her past and looks at when she was being bullied and emotionally scarred, her memories are full of love. So when she forecasts forward, she comes from a position of love when she looks at pain. I, on the other hand, didn't have that pleasure. I grew up in a very abusive home, not physically, but emotionally. I was emotionally tormented most of my life. And so for me, when I look back, so much of my past starts with pain, and then I got to like consciously look through those chapters and find like moments of awesomeness that I can hold on to, which makes the future a little bit hard because we project all that past forward because that's what we know. That's what we know. That's the truth. So that truth becomes what we think is going to happen in the future. The point of all this conversation is there's a formula to break it. There's a formula to rethink what our past is. And this is what I've been doing, right? The greatest trick you can sort of learn how to do is tricking your brain, because the brain is the number one thing that limits you or open up your possibilities. Because what you can imagine, you can do. But at the same time, what you can imagine and feel, you can trick the brain into. So here's an example, right? I'm now building a new social media network mentoring app solution for musicians. And when I look back in my music history, from the day I started DJing when I was 18. The most like fresh memories that come to mind is all the times it failed. A brain constantly says, hey dude, why are you in the music business? Remember that club night you tried when you were 18 and nobody showed up? Remember when you were 22 and you had a residency in a downtown Toronto club and 5 people showed up and they left because it was a shitty party? Remember? Because the brain literally wants to protect you. We are wired in our DNA for flight, not fight. Okay? People think we have an option. Hey, do we want to fight or flight? Our brain is wired for flight. Like, this is thousands of years of like DNA programming. Like, when a fucking dinosaur is trying to eat you, you don't pick up a spear and try to kill it like the movies. We run, we protect, we hide. So the brain, his entire job is to protect you. This is why, like, when shit goes bad, you freeze up. Because your brain wants you to like not do anything other than like stop and just run away. So if that's our natural instinct, then how do we find the courage and the stamina and the will to fight for the future we want to create? And I've been struggling with this question for most of my career, because almost everything I want to start in life, a new business, even when I was like, trying to date my wife, there was so many things in my past that told me why it's not going to happen. Oh, you're a computer science geeky kid. Why would she like you? Or she's Muslim, you're Hindu, it's never going to work out. Or she's Canadian and I came from a different country, that's not going to work out. Because your past is saying, yo man, you don't get hurt, so just don't take an effort. And so many of us, in my opinion, are fueled by our past, but we don't even take an attempt into fighting for the future we want. So many of us are so scarred by our past that we don't even fight for the future that we want. And I said it twice because I want you to really hear that. Because when that light bulb goes off, that man, I had to go fight for my future. Even though I'm wired to run away, it changes the perspective of what is the effort you need to put in to get to the next level. And that's sort of what I've been thinking about a lot in this chapter. Talking to some of the friends that I've invited and looking at, what is the way to sort of break through it. One of the ways I've been doing it is consciously telling myself that I'm in for a fight. I'm in for a fight, and that's what my mind has to get ready for. So I'm not backing down. I'm not running away. I'm okay with getting shitty results. I'm okay with pain. I'm okay with getting a few more scars. So I'm going to fight for the dream that I'm going to work on. But something magical happens once you tell your brain, shut the fuck up. I'm going to go fight for what I want. It then starts to go, okay, he's going to do it anyways. He's not listening to us. He's going to do it anyways. So then how do we back him up? Okay, how do we back him up? And the minute that switch comes on, it's really cool because all those nuggets of pain that sort of make you run away start to tell you something different. Like, for example, I've already had 9 rejections. What's one more going to do? So you go up to that girl at the bar, hopefully when COVID clears up again, or you text back, or you swipe right with confidence, because the other 9 times that you failed are not painful anymore. It's a point of power now. Or what's the worst? I invest a bunch of money, and the business fails, and I lose all my money. Well, I grew up eating once a day, and it was ramen noodles and Dorito chips, and I graduated to hot dogs and patties. How much worse can it get? And that's real. Like, that's pretty much what I ate most of my life, because we couldn't afford much food. So if that is my past, why would I be afraid of a future where my worst case scenario is I'm back to eating ramen noodles and Doritos, which I've already done? And all of a sudden, the past pain becomes a baseline that is not that bad, and everything above it is a win. And that for me was a light bulb, man, because all of those things that hold you back end up turning into awesome foundation. So that's number one. Tell your brain you're going to fight anyways. And then turn all your negatives and fears and passions into something that can support your future. The second thing that people, I think, sort of misunderstand is to build a truly exciting future. There's no end game. It's not like if I do this and this and this, I'll be happy. If I do this and this and this, I'll be successful, and then I'm done. The minute you get on that path of self-improvement or working on a life that is your dream life and you're willing to fight for it, it becomes your lifestyle. You're constantly living that lifestyle. It's the ultimate hustler mindset. It never ends. The tunnel continues to go and go and go. You know, one of my favorite case studies is Puffy. I don't know if you guys ever followed Puffy, P. Diddy, however you know this guy. Constant rejections, you know, worked as an intern, got booted, started his own record label, tried to draw a concert, somebody got shot. His career could have ended there. Then he started working with Mary J, Jodeci, blew them up. And then Biggie showed up, built an entire company around Biggie. Biggie gets killed. Still there. Didn't stop. Signs J-Lo. Gets into the pop scene. Works on music videos, TV shows, clothing lines. There's no end to the tunnel. You're in it by design, and you keep going. Good morning, y'all. To everybody that just logged in, thank you so much for coming by. We're talking about what it is that's going to break through. And the diagram that's on your screen just now is a little recap of what I've been thinking about, where so much of our past doesn't get utilized in a strategic way, and so much of our future is so unknown. So you're in the middle, and if you don't learn how to utilize your past to empower you, you don't know what's going to happen in the future, you can't make the tough decisions to fight for your dreams. And that's what this entire podcast or this entire session is about. So if you missed the first half, feel free to rewind when I post this. So when you tell yourself, man, my past is going to empower me because it can't get worse than that. And I'm now going to get into a fight where it doesn't end. There's no pot of gold at the end. It's me constantly and continuously working for the future that I want or I deserve. That you deserve, because a lot of people don't think we deserve the future that we dream of, because it's not for us, it's for some elite rich folks or athletes or the well-offs. I come from a poor neighborhood, or I'm an immigrant, or whatever the reasons we tell ourselves when we think about our future small. And if you look at this diagram, the only truth that you know for sure is your past. Because you've already lived it. Everything else on that line that jumps into your future has not happened. So whether you dream big or you dream average, nothing has happened. So why play small? There's no reason to. And that's what I've been really thinking. And, so much of my immigrant mindset, God bless my parents, has been to get into moments of settling as quick as possible. Because we're not allowed to dream big. We come from a poor background or a different past, and we don't have the same luxuries or the opportunities. These are all narratives that come out of a past that already happened. But what hasn't happened is the future. And you 100% get to choose whether you want to fight for that or you don't. And some of us say, hey man, I'm cool where I am. You know, I'm good. Like, I don't need to take an extra class. I don't need to go on Udemy and study something. I don't need to read books. I don't need to I'm good where I am. And for me, that is the ultimate bullshit. Because everything about us as humans is to evolve. We cannot stay still as humankind or as humans. It's impossible. We're constantly reacting to internal growth, external growth, sometimes by choice, like what I'm doing now, or by force, where you're reacting to what's happening. Anybody who didn't invest in anything in themselves in the last few years are fucked right now. If you're not reading books, if you're not watching documentaries, if you're not, getting help and mentoring, if you're not getting coaching, if you're not doing any of those things for self-improvement, something like a COVID just fucked you up. You haven't been working. You haven't been thinking about what to get better at. Right? And that's the last thing I want to talk about today in this 3-step formula of breakthroughs. 1, to recap, take your past, flip it, and make it a foundation. It can't get worse than that, man. Can't get worse than that. And you know what that feels like. You know what rock bottom feels like. So, can't get worse than that. What do you got to fear? Go and dream big. Right? 2, get ready for the fight. Tell yourself, this is the way I want to live. I want to be in the fight for the best future of my life. And if that means I got to invest in education and I got to ask for help and I got to constantly look for ways to improve and learn, what else you got to do? We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to get better. This is especially true of people that are in relationships that are not strong and bonding, because they think that the purpose of a relationship is to get the other person to take care of them. Nah, the best relationships are the ones that you bring something to the game. You bring your passion. You bring a life that you want to share. And when 2 people come together and they're willing to share the best of what they're becoming, then there's an incredible bond, because it's with purpose and there's evolution and there's growth. And it's the same in business. You can't get into business with a plan that started today and hope that's it. I'm good. This is what I'm going to do. It evolves. And as I said in the beginning, we are wired for flight, not fight. 99% of us are wired for flight, not fight. And it's not your fault. Nobody's saying, hey man, you don't want more or you settle. It's how we're wired. We're here to, we have a complex human body, and the job of the brain is to 100% of the time protect you from pain. It doesn't know that the pain is sometimes good. It doesn't know that when you hit that treadmill and you exhaust yourself, it's for good. It doesn't know that when you're lifting heavy weights that it's good, or when you fight for the person you love for and you're in pain, that is for good. Or when you stay up 20 hours a day to work on your dream business and you're not sleeping and you're hungry and you're still fighting, that is for good. It doesn't know that. And it's a conscious decision to build the best future that you deserve. Finally, to close it all off, when it gets really noisy on your path, you have to find ways to get rid of the bullshit. It's going to get noisy because now you're battling the world because you're trying to build your dream life, and you're battling your family. You're battling your friends who probably doesn't understand, who don't understand what you're doing. And you're battling yourself because your brain is constantly saying, hey, Cavell, don't do that, man. You don't need to work on a 3rd book. So you have to find ways to shut the bullshit down. You have to find a way to cut the noise. You got to find a way to listen to your gut. And we all have this intuitive person inside of us who's completely opposite to the brain. The intuitive person is about pushing you forward. It's about helping you minimize risk. It's about being that safety net as you take risks. But we have to learn how to listen to that little person inside of us. We can't dumb it down by staying on social all day or surrounding ourselves by so much noise that we don't listen to ourselves. Schools don't teach us how to listen to ourselves. I read a quote today on one of my pages. Somebody said, you know, if you think about it, you go to school and the entire purpose is for you to learn things that have already been discovered and answered. There's nothing new because you're learning stuff that people have already figured out. They've put it in a book and they've got an answer for everything that you don't know. And if you're only focused on academic success, you're not taking any risks outside of school, you're not learning intuition, because what life does is life says, hey, there's a bunch of questions there's no answers for. You got to go figure it out. You got to go figure it out. And that's where it becomes scary and fun and exciting and dangerous and emotional. But it's supposed to, because you're evolving with every answer that you don't, every question and answer that you don't know yet. What am I made of? How tough am I? What will break me? What makes me truly happy? If I can design any future that I want, and this is a very important image, and if you can screenshot it and take a look at it. The past is the only truth we know because we've experienced it. The present is happening right now between you and me. The future is only created when you decide what kind of future you want. And it hasn't happened. And it's right there. And you decide how big and glamorous and glorious and amazing you want it to be. And then when you can take your present and learn every day and connect with people and get some coaching and mentoring and support, and you can take your past and turn it into a foundation that empowers you, the gas to get moving, I can guarantee you that the future you desire is 100% possible. I went from a uneducatable, labeled dumb and stupid by the age of 14 to running multiple companies, finding an incredible life partner, building businesses that I love, having the flexibility and the confidence to do these kind of conversations. Because I said, I'm going to fight. This is the future that I want. I'm going to tell myself it's going to be an endless tunnel. I'm going to take my past and turn it into my foundation. Then we're going to go. And I hope each and every one of you that happen to listen to this, each and every one of you that is looking for that question of, man, what am I capable of? You can take this blueprint, put this shit on your window, on your mirror, on your phone, and understand that there is a formula. And I hope all of you can get on that path, learn to fight, and go build the life that you deserve. That's all I got to say today. Thank you so much for letting me speak and share. This is as important for me to listen to this as it is hopefully for you. You can always reach out if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, help. I would love to help you. In the meantime, have a great day. Thank you.